of organizations. I am Ankit, your host for today's show. This week, we have put the time aside to learn different ways to deal with difficult coworkers. In the ever evolving landscape of professional settings where diverse personalities collide, we embark on a captivating journey into the depths of workplace dynamics. Picture this: you find yourself in an office bursting with energy where each person brings a unique blend of behaviors, styles, and attitudes. While most interactions are harmonious, there are occasional twists in the tale, the challenge of difficult coworkers. So today we gather to unlock the secrets of managing these captivating characters. Imagine a mosaic of stories where real life experiences intertwine with expert insights, creating a tapestry of wisdom. Our seasoned guest, hailing from the realm of HR, leadership, and psychology, will take you by the hand and guide you through an enchanted forest of communication techniques, conflict resolution strategies, and personal well being practices. Along the way, they will sprinkle anecdote and examples, weaving a small story of triumph amidst adversity. Picture yourself armed with the power of empathy, armed with the sword of effective communication, and shielded by the armor of resilience. So, my friends, fasten your seatbelts and get ready for an adventure of transformation. Together, we shall unravel the mysteries, break through the barriers, and emerge as champions in the realm of difficult co workers. We are obliged with the presence of some of the brilliant industry experts, and I would like to introduce them to my audience. First, we have Saurabh Singh. Saurabh, our esteemed guest, and he's a talent acquisition manager at GSK who brings a unique perspective to today's shows on handling difficult co-workers. With his extensive background in HR, Saurabh is the perfect person to guide us through effective strategies and insights on managing challenging workplace relationships. As an HR professional, Saurabh has encountered a wide range of interpersonal dynamics and has developed valuable skills in fostering positive work environment. His expertise in talent acquisition and people management equips him with the knowledge and experience needed to navigate the complexities of different co-worker situations. Welcome, Saurabh, to our show, and we are very glad that you could join us today.
Thank you, Ankit. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Saurabh. Now we have Pooja. Please welcome our next guest, guys. Pooja, a dynamic learning and development professional who has made a significant impact in training employees across diverse corporate settings and startups. With a remarkable track record of successfully training over 5,000 professionals, Pooja is a seasoned expert in delivering business solution to complex challenges. Specializing in HR, Pooja's area of expertise include leadership training, recruitment, organizational change, and employee life cycle management. Her deep understanding of these critical domains enable her to navigate the intricacies of talent development and create effective learning experiences. Welcome, Pooja, to our show, and we are happy that you're here.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Thanks for the opportunity. Hello, everyone.
Well, and obviously, our wonderful listeners, without them, this could not have been possible. Welcome, everyone. And give it a thumbs up. React with your favorite emoji if you are as excited as I am. Well, at the Star in Me, we partner with organizations to amplify the potential of their workforce. We have curated various programs, workshops, and offer customized program to help organizations achieve their mental well-being goals. If you want more details, please write to us at hello@starinme.com or send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to help you. All right, before we dive into the deep end of our discussion, let's warm up with an MCQ centered around our topic: how to deal with difficult coworkers. So, obviously, my first question, Saurabh, I would like to start with you. It's a MCQ. I'll give you four options for this question, and you have to tell me what we can do around this. So, what is generally the first step in dealing with a difficult coworker? Your options are: A. Complain about them to everyone in the office. B. Ignore the
Mhm.
problem and hope it goes away. C. Try to understand their perspective and open a direct, respectful conversation. Or D. sabotage their work to show them who's the boss?
I'll go with the option C.
Okay, so you would suggest our audience that try to understand their perspective and open a direct, respectful conversation. Well, I
Yes.
totally agree with you, Saurabh, and I think this is the right answer. And people who are in the audience, if you resonate with what Saurabh said, please react with your favorite emoji. It could be thumbs up, it could be heart. All right. My second question will be to Pooja. Pooja, a coworker is constantly negative, making it hard for you to stay motivated. How should you handle it? So your options are: A, confront them publicly about their negativity; B, discuss the matter with your supervisor or HR; mimic or option C, mimic their negativity to show them how it feels; or option D, start a rumor about them being unhappy in their personal life.
What was the option one again? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll repeat the option for you. A is confront them publicly about their negativity. B, discuss the matter with your supervisor or HR. C, mimic their negativity to show them how it feels. Or D, start a rumor about them being unhappy in their personal life.
I would go with option two, which is B, where we can talk to the supervisor. Before that, I would say it's better to have a conversation than to confront with them.
Right, right. It's better to have a conversation before you confront them. That's rightly said, Pooja. Thank you so much for giving the input. Well, now let's dive into the topic. It was just start. We were just getting started. It was a warm up. Now, my first question again. I'll come back to Saurabh. Saurabh, I would like to start with you first. What is your personal definition of a difficult coworker? Can you share an anonymous example where from your own experiences?
Okay. So, as per me, a difficult co-worker can be described as someone who consistently exhibits behavior or traits that makes it challenging to collaborate or work effectively as a team. So that is, I will say, is a definition for a difficult co-worker. And when you say, right, there might be multiple reasons behind that. It can be communication issues, it can be unreliable or accountable or negative attitude, lack of teamwork, inflexibility, or micromanagement. So these are the some reasons which can make any a particular person as a difficult co-worker, which can unnecessary create issues within the team and cause hamper to the progress what we are trying to achieve.
Rightly said, Saurabh. And as you mentioned, lack of teamwork, lack of proper communication. And as I said, at the very beginning, that we both our guests, they come from HR background, so obviously they have the experiences. They have hired a lot of people in their for their organization and for others also, wherein they know what kind of difficult co-workers can exist in your workplace and how you can handle them. So thank you so much, Saurabh, for putting uh, the light on this. Well, my next question will be to Pooja. Pooja, what's the first step you would recommend when realizing you are dealing with a difficult coworkers? What would be the first step you would recommend?
Um, First of all, whenever we identify anybody who is like a difficult coworker, I would say they have a problem for every solution you propose. So that is the first thing you need to realize. Like whenever you're proposing any solution, if they come up with a problem for that particular solution, you would definitely know that this is the person whom you need to concentrate on. So I would suggest the best way to deal with them is to assess the situation because let me give you an example over here. So I did have one of my reportee who was not willing to contribute to the tasks which are aligned. So when this happened, I mean initially I wasn't sure like what was the main cause of it. But when I had a conversation with her, because I have recently joined that organization by then, she was telling that she was an exceptional performer and she was expecting a promotion and all of that. But still, because she was not promoted at that particular time, she was trying to, she was resilient in order to show that she is not working, and she has some residual feelings over there. So sometimes it's better to have those conversations with them to understand where the problem is and try to find a solution to the problem where they are facing. That would be the first step, I would say.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm noting it down, Pooja. As you said, first you have a conversation. The first step, as you mentioned, whenever you realize that you are dealing with a difficult coworker, it could be your manager, it could be your subordinate, or probably it could be your colleague, right? So you work at the same level. So as Pooja mentioned, that have a initial conversation, the first conversation with the person itself before going taking it to the next level. Well, thank you so much, Pooja. I have noted it down, and I believe our listeners are also, noting this. And if one of you is dealing with such coworker whom you find very difficult to work with, so I think these answers will definitely help you. All right. My next question will be to Saurabh. I see, Sayed, you're already raising your hand. Please allow us 10 minutes. Please keep your hand raised. We will allow everyone from the audience to ask their question to our guest and get benefit from this. Well, but before that, Saurabh, I would like to ask one question to you: is how would you suggest handling a coworker who is frequently negative and tends to bring down the morale of the team? So obviously, he can be a manager, a team manager, or someone working with the team. So how would you suggest handling a
Right.
coworker who is frequently negative?
Correct. So see, when we see somebody who is completely negative, right? So we have to lead by example. We have to demonstrate, right, that okay, you are completely negative. That is not affecting me, right? We have to see, maintain that positive attitude, demonstrate that resilience in the face of that negativity. Because these positive, when I'm positive, my team will be positive, and definitely we can be supportive and encourage teamwork, right? And I can encourage in constructive conversation when it comes to. Also, I we have to be very much when open in communication, when especially with the person, right? Because when what we are communicating, how he's taking it, how he's trying to address, right? What if he thinks, right, okay, this was something which was meant to me for, or it was uh, publicly to down demean me or criticize me. That was not. We need to explain the reason why it happened, what can be the what would have been happened, right? Why it was discussed to everybody. It can be a certain example, it can be learning lesson to the other team members. That's where it. And when it comes to the behavior part especially, right, that instead of talking it openly within the team, we should talk it privately. We should address, right? Because we need to understand what is making that particular negative behavior coming from that particular employee, right? Or that person. What is it something which is demotivating him, or his morale has come down, right? Also, what we also keep on doing, right, when we have a team to manage, we need to see the we provide positive feedbacks. We need to recognize the people who are doing hard work, right? So these things can keep our team motivated, and in a and work together as a team. And it is not letting anybody to demoralize or bring that particular negative kind of behavior within them. And at the last, if you still see it as a challenge, right, which is not being able to, right, then you bring in the HR. But first step will be, try to lead yourself. You have to, because you are, it's your team, you know the it's you have groomed the team, you have built the team, it's your responsibility, right? That's my take.
Well, lead by the example. This is something sort of that I have noted it, and
Yes.
obviously we have a very famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "Be the change you want to see in the world." Right. So lead,
Yes.
as Saurabh also mentioned, lead by the example. Have an open communication. said, talk privately before taking it to higher authorities or higher level or high people. Well, talk it out, and if you have any problem with them, let them know so that they can also sink in and have be sympathetic, have empathy to each other. Well, thank you so much, Saurabh. That was really wonderful answer, and I loved it, and I have taken the note. Surely, I'm gonna tell my friends and my colleagues that these are the ways you can navigate dealing with the difficult coworkers. All right, moving on. Pooja, I have one question for you. Could you share some techniques for maintaining professionalism when a coworker constantly provokes or antagonizes you?
Surely, Ankit. So I would say the first thing is to practice active listening because I mean it's very important, especially when you're in a team meeting or any other situations where you know that this is the problem and you need the solution. You always have to practice active listening instead of getting into conclusions. And it's also important for you to empathize while the situations, especially when there are some situations which are tricky, you need to empathize with the person or within the team members to let them know that you're there for them. And also creating trust is one of the most important aspects. All this can happen, or you can achieve greater success when you can listen properly and empathize with the team, and that would automatically lead into trust building. So, I would say these are the three techniques which you need to practice in order to maintain your professionalism in difficult situations.
Well, thank you, Pooja. Active listening, don't jump to conclusion, empathize with team members. These are the pointers which Pooja gave, and if you can use these techniques for maintaining professionalism when you are dealing with people and your colleagues who are difficult to work with. Well, thank you so much, Pooja. That was very enlightening answer and insightful. So thank you so much for this. Now, Saurabh, my one question to you is, what advice, since you are in HR role, you are in this back, you are dealing with a lot of people. You have done people management. So, what advice would you give for someone dealing with a difficult coworker who happens to be in a higher position or is a superior? Because communicating and talking openly to your probably top leaders or managers is something that most of the people hesitate doing it, right? So, what advice would
Right.
you give them?
Correct. So this is where the dynamics and everything changes, right? Because especially when we are having anybody who is at a higher position, right? We need to understand what are the company policies, what are the company procedures, right? Especially any conversation which you think like which was not appropriate as per the company rules and everything, we need to get a document. Also, definitely there will be people who will be observing in your team, right, the kind of behavior what you have been going through by that particular senior member. So you can take help of those trusted colleagues so that they can witness, and if required they can also speak on when there is any inquiry or anything is happening, right? Also, when we need to see, right, where what type of the right time and the place for communication. We cannot openly debate or argue with that particular person, right? It's very difficult when it comes to uh, address that particular person. So it will be right, we have to maintain our calm, we have to uh, talk privately to that particular person if in case there is any mistake, why there is a pinpoint reason why he's been targeting you, right? And in the last, when you have everything, you have done all these things, then I'll suggest go to the HR or any higher authority. There will be definitely there will be some what do you say, committee will be there within your companies which can help uh, to resolve these particular issues which are there. HR is there obviously, which takes care, but there will be definitely, especially when it comes to the women employees. Right now we have such committees within the organization where we investigate right to the people if in case any such cases are coming, instead of highlighting or letting any everybody in the team or anything, we investigate very privately, and then based on the whatever the result is, we take the action. And but at the end, I'll say the most very most important part here will be to prioritize your self care, because you should not feel bad, you should not take any a wrong step here. You should be very, you should remain positive in this, because some we have seen multiple people where due to pressure, thinking okay they have taken wrong step, they have done something blunder they have done, or they have taken their life, right? So I will say to prioritize self-care, right? To manage that particular stress, talk to your family members, talk to your family. If needed, go to counselor, right? Maintain the healthy work-life balance. That's what I can say, because that pressure I understand which comes with such negative when somebody is at the senior role.
True, true, Saurabh. I mean, the kind of pressure anyone would feel in this situation, I think it will be humongous or huge. As you said, there are company policies, and I've been working and interacting with you from a long time. So I love our time, and any time when we communicate. And obviously, you I mean, you are working with GSK, and as you said, the company or the GSK has a proper channel and proper policies wherein they help these employees to come up and talk about or open up about the challenges they are facing, especially with their boss and their superiors or their leaders. Right. So,
Right.
well, the pointers I have taken, sort of, from your answer is obviously set up a time for private discussion because, as you rightly mentioned, you have top leader. If you're having any problem with your top leader, so obviously you cannot, discuss it openly with everyone. Have a private discussion with the person itself. Keep your armor up. Find proper channel, and as you said, the most important thing is practice self care. So, well, to add on to this, I was in the morning, I was reading something from Bhagavad Gita, and I came across a shloka, and it says, elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself for the mind, because the mind can be the friend and also the enemy of yourself or the self. So thank you so much, Saurabh. That was very wonderful answer, and I have noted everything because that's what I do whenever I join every Thursday. I talk to experts, I talk to industry leaders, and this is my time for learning. And I don't miss a chance to write down any important thing or any great learning which I get from these discussions.
Sure. Thank you.
Well, all right, we have three people already raising their hand, and now I think I'll shut up for now. I'll allow Sayed to speak. Sayed, I have allowed you, or you are on the stage. Please unmute yourself and ask your question to our guest. Sayed, can you hear me? Okay, he left. No problem. All right, Velka is here. Velka, hi. Velka, I have allowed you to speak. You can unmute yourself. You will find the mute button at the right bottom right of your screen. Well, Sayed, you're back. Sayed, you need to unmute yourself.
Hi, hello, how are
I'm
you?
I'm
Thank you
I'm
so
I'm
much.
here also
Hello,
after Syed finish, okay?
hello, yeah,
Yes, yes, Sayed, please go ahead. We can
yeah,
hear you.
thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my idea. I am from Pakistan. Yeah, that is a very good session. I just read today in my office that there is a session is going on, which is very valuable for me. I have a question regarding this. Whatever the question you have raised, it was too much useful, and I will also adopt this. Thank you to all of you. My question is that there are some co-workers under me. The question is this, that they think that they are more qualified, but I am not. but I am on the top position, they are not. So for these kind of things, sometimes they don't follow the policies, or they don't follow the instructions, or they increase the humors to other management that these kind of things happening, or although there is no meaning of that. But sometimes I'm scared, and I try my best to discuss with them. But on the people side, they are always happy and showing that we are okay with that. But on my back, they are also always humors, increasing the humors. So what would be the best way to make sure to management that whatever the humors they are providing you, it's not true? And although they haven't still make any decision, but I have complained to my HR team. Instead of to investigate for that person, they are asking me to, it is the matter of your what can we say, your behavior with your customer, with your co-workers. Even I have 14 co-workers, but only one person is showing that. So I have just proved that, and I have get the comments from all others and showing them that these are the comments which is not taking falsely. They are showing that he is skillful, he is always helping us, he is teaching us, and he is sharing his knowledge to us. But for that one person, I would request to you guys, please advise me what should I do.
Well, wow.
Okay. Yeah, Sayed, I'll take that question, right? So, see, first thing will be, right, if you are seeing that particular issue, right, you need to communicate openly and very directly to that particular person, right? It cannot be with the other members around, in and around. Have that conversation privately with him, instead of you like saying every time I we should use, when especially when we are talking to the larger team, we should always use we, because when you start using the word I, it is always, that's when the perceptions, these perception comes up, and that's where everybody starts thinking, okay, the work is being done by us, but the credit is taken by someone else. And I, what I understand from your issue, this is the case where that is what is happening right now. I'll suggest you to have that communication directly with him, and also I'll also ask you, before having that communication, just look back from your experience with the interaction which you had, which where there might be something which might have triggered that particular kind of behavior coming from only from that particular employee in your team. That's my suggestion to you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay. So I'm actually, can anyone hear me? This is Vielka. I'm sorry I couldn't join before, couldn't find it unmute.
No problem,
Yeah.
Velka.
Can you
We can
guys?
hear you. You can please
Oh,
go ahead.
beautiful. Yeah, I in my past experienced something like Saed, but however, it was more than one employee because I've come into situation where everybody wanted to be a manager. So having said that, so my heart goes out to him. But having said that, the question is, I know you guys have answered like very basic questions, but how about if you're in a setting in meetings where that employee is very abrupt, or a couple of them are very abrupt. They shut down everything that you always say, no matter how simple it might be, no matter how they come at it, coming from the top, but they always shut you down in the public. Are you guys still suggesting, okay, let them be and then just take them aside and handle it? How will that leave the expectation for the others? Could you please advise on that?
Hi, Velka. Let me take that for you. So whenever you have some resistance which you're facing within the employees or within your team, it's always better to understand what the root cause for this kind of behavior is, because it's not a skill issue, it's a will issue, right? So obviously there might be some trigger points for anyone within the team, and I mean everybody would be facing it at some point of their careers or the other. So it's better to know what the root cause of this entire problem is and why they are behaving in such a manner. So you can have a conversation, or you can also have a team building activity. Sometimes this might help you to understand what kind of behavior these people carry, and based on that you can either upskill them or try to upskill yourself in order to respond to them. So it's basically a behavioral issue than a skill issue, is what I would say.
Milk, I guess you are on mute. We cannot hear you if you're saying
Okay, so
anything.
so what you're saying is let them be if they want to be disrespectful in a certain meeting. I know you addressed, and I think it was you addressed where one of them is being disrespectful in public, but not several of them. So what you're saying is let them be in public, let them continue to exercise their behavior, and then in privately you address it. I'm not sure how that would set the tone for the other employees as to, well, if they can be disrespectful, I don't have to talk to her, listen to her either. That's where I'm coming from in terms of, you got more than one now in a meeting acting disrespectful because everybody wants to be a manager. Just like Said said, he have encountered with employees like that. I have as well.
That's what I'm saying, Monica. So it's better to set up a clear expectation during the meetings, especially when you have a team meeting. It's better to set up a clear expectation what the goal is. Focus on the goal of the meeting than on the people. That would actually help in order to understand, and you take the dominant on the conversation. If they're shutting you off, it's better to have a clear clarity on what their point is. Let them speak about what the point is, especially on what exactly they want to convey. So you can take the inputs from the conversation or the solution from the conversation they are trying to express, than taking it as a shut off for you. Try to understand where the point is and try to focus on the solution to the conversation than on focusing on what they are speaking.
Also, Velika, like I said, right, the first step
Okay,
you will have to
don't
take.
focus on the
You
behavior.
have to first step you will have to take. You have to lead by example, right? If he's doing again and again, like I said, you have to document these incidents and conversation. But in the meantime, when you're documenting these incidents and conversation, if the person is doing again and again, but in parallel you have to engage with him, have those private conversation as Pooja mentioned, try to resolve issue, try to create the boundaries, try whenever if there is any deviation when you are having any discussion, try to come to something where the team can invest, have a productive topics discussion so that they are involved in that, and that keeps them busy and engaged.
Right. Welka,
Okay.
I have a question for you. As Pooja also mentioned, you need to first understand why they are behaving like this. So I just wanted to ask you, did you ever talk to them, or what's I mean the reason why they behave in such manner during the meetings? Why do they cut you off, and why they have been disrespectful? Uh,
Okay, so in a couple of scenarios, in companies that I've been to, there has been individuals where like I've been the fort manager for the year, and actually, it doesn't matter how little it is that you're bringing up a procedure that's already in place. It's not something that I'm doing procedure of my own, but they would always have a saying, "Oh, this is not what it works. This has never worked." And funny, when you actually have an audit, the audit people would have said they should have known that. We had conversation with them in the past. They've been with the company for 12, 13 years. So it's kind of like no matter what you say, it's taken as, you're being negative. Um, you know, we've been here for a while. You don't know what you're talking about. You're rude. No matter what, that kind of situation where you actually sit them down. And it's been the same set as in the public setting. Nothing changed. The
mhm.
same thing. Oh, it's the way how you communicate. Like what Said said, whether invent stuff that's really not true. I've experienced that in the past.
See, Velka, you need to understand one thing that I would like to add here is your job
Okay.
is not that important, not important than your mental peace, right? You have to be in the right frame of your mind. If these people, if your colleagues are creating problems for you, if you're not at your mental peace, then I think you have to take some exceptional, actions and show them who's the boss here. Because if you are a subject matter expert, if you know how these things will work, then I think authority is something which you need to prove at certain point, right? They cannot be
Yeah.
cutting you off, they cannot be pulling you down every time, stating this will not work, that will not work. But if deep down you know if this thing is going to work because you have experience, right, expertise for it, I think at that time you need to speak up. If they feel bad about
Yeah.
it, let it, because you have already been feeling bad about it, right? They are making you feel bad with your decisions and with your inputs. So don't care about it. If you are the boss, then show them who's the boss there. So be at your mental
Okay.
peace, because your colleagues, your job is not important as your mental health is. So this would be my
I
advice.
like
And
my husband had given me the same advice in the past, believe it or not, and he's never been in money. So I'm definitely, to be honest, I quit my last management job where I supervised 15 people because my mental health was just going on. Just like what Syed said, where they go to human resource, in human resource, believe them. But what's interesting, these are people that gone to human resource before I got there. And human resource believe them too. So I just gave up. But thank you for that advice. Hopefully in the future I'll get another managerial job and I'll use it because my husband has been saying the same thing. Just show them who's the boss. You're not going to get anywhere if you continue to cater to them. They're not listening. They're not going to respect you.
true. Well, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Yelka, for joining today. And your question has really, made this conversation more exciting and engaging. Thank you so much for coming. Well, we have Arvind on the stage. Arvind,
Thank
welcome to our show. And you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey Ankit, hey everyone. Um, Thanks for having this session. And I was listening to Wilka as well. I can empathize with the situation, what Wilka is going through, and then, as a manager or as a coworker, I've been in that situation in the past as well. But I would say that, just to kind of add on to what Ankit already mentioned, I would say. Uh, it's always like there are people uh, on any of the teams, in any of the organizations, that there are like one or two people or a few people sometimes, right, who can be who we think that our perception is always like, we are it is difficult to handle and it is difficult to work with them. I would not take that personally. And basically, if they are interrupting you each and every time, and you are the boss of the team, and you just need to, as Ankit mentioned, just to show them that in an effective way and in a positive manner, uh, that this is not acceptable if it happens again and again, right? So basically, just set the expectations before going into the meeting, or set the expectations with your leader before going into the meeting. The What are the norms and acceptable behaviors, right? And then, and sometimes what I think is having that negative um, or challenging personality is it poses a challenge for ourselves to kind of stand up to that, and um, you know kind of develop our emotional intelligence, and go with a listening mindset, and take it and handle that politely, and see, think that as an opportunity for improvement for the team itself. They kind of, I mean, my whole point is, like, if somebody is negative, um, but if they're challenging the status quo, sometimes it helps to elevate the team, if you kind of take it with a pinch of salt, right? So that's just a couple of my comments and questions. Comments, I would say, more than a question. Basically, like, uh, if we take that with a pinch of salt and then think that it's for overall improvement of the, basically, like, it's just that how they challenge, so that matters,
True.
rather than if they're challenging the subject matter or not. So it's just that the how they challenge and how we challenge others. um, so it's always like constructive feedback and constructive, um, you know uh, inputs are helpful for the team to grow. So that's what I just wanted to add.
Indeed, indeed, Arvind. Constructive feedback is something that actually helps every team to grow, right? And thank you so much, Arvind, that you have shed some points. You gave us few pointers. So, and I really appreciate your time and your inputs on this. Thank you so much for coming. And as you mentioned, challenge the status quo and be yourself. Again, this is the only thing that will take you further in your career. And obviously, if you know how to respond to the situations or scenarios instead of reacting, there is a very thin line, right? And the definition is very different, reacting and responding to any situation. So if you respond to the situation, you will always navigate it, and you will come out alive and more powerful from those situations. But when you react, you need to think, what are you doing and why are you doing? So thank you, Arvind, for coming and joining us today and giving us the valuable inputs. Well, we have.
Thanks, Akhil. And yeah, I definitely agree with your point that respond rather than react in the situation. So definitely, like, emotional developing that emotional intelligence takes time, patience, energy, practice, and mindfulness. So even, like, practicing yoga, practicing like meditation, like some other cross skill sets would definitely help at work. So thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. And that's what we do at Star in Me, right? So we are trying our agenda. Our motive is to help everyone with these sort of skill sets, right? Because everyone doesn't know what is EQ, what is emotional intelligence, and how you can show empathy. I know these are the fancy words and English big words for people, but then again, to know the essence of these words and how you can inculcate. In your work life or in your personal life, this is our mission, this is our mission, and we try to help uh, eh, as much people as possible. So again, thank you, Arvind, for being here.
Yeah,
Well, we
thanks.
have for both I'll allow you to speak. You can unmute yourself and ask the question to our guest.
Hi, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to pose my question. I just wanted to point out, I heard from a few people in the management position that they're not able to sort of assert themselves, or where they're in a position of management, they don't see other people would follow them. And I just want to know if that's more associated with their leadership skills rather than associating that with difficult coworkers.
Hi for both. I
Hello.
will take this up. So I would consider that it's based on the company's culture. So it's not just the leadership. Sometimes the company's values and culture is something which is important, and that's what has to be resonated from the leadership, I would say. And if that is the way they want to project the company values, I think the culture fit is one thing which needs to be checked for hiring also. So if Aman, your question is basically if why is it the leadership projects a different types of cultures and behaviors than the employees, right?
Well, I guess my main question is, rather than associating sort of the uh, what's happening with the managers, and I heard one had to quit because she was in a management position, rather than improving on leadership skills. um, they just associated with having difficult coworkers and then choose to quit.
Okay. So it basically depends on how exactly they are perceiving the problem over there. If it's because of the people they're quitting or because of the employees they're quitting, then definitely they need to upskill themselves. As Arvind has mentioned before, definitely their EQ levels is one of the important aspects in order to build their skill sets as a leader. And there is a difference between being a manager and a leader. So, in order to be a leader, you definitely have to improvise on your skill sets too.
Yeah, I just want to point out, being able to work with difficult coworkers is definitely a skill, but when you demonstrate leadership skills, people naturally gravitate toward you, and so that could definitely help improve things in general.
Right.
Well, Saurabh, if you want to add something to for both and Pooja, what she said.
No, I'll agree to what Pooja said right here. So I'll reserve my comments here, but whatever Pooja said is correct, and we should get to it.
Cool, cool. Thank you for both for your question, and I really loved that you could join us here and ask the question to our guest. Well, that was really meaningful. Well, anyone from the audience, if you have any more question for our guest, please raise your hand. I will allow you to speak. All right, no problem. If no one has questions, then probably I'll just go ahead and ask few things to Pooja and Saurabh. Well, before we are almost now it's 8:18, and we are ending the session in next 10 minutes. But then again, I want to ask some quirky questions to my panelists, and I will start with Pooja. Pooja, if you could choose a superpower to help you handle difficult coworkers, what would it be and why?
I would definitely choose patience
Okay.
because that is most important in order to deal with anybody, not only with the difficult co-workers, because patience is virtue, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
So until and unless you're patient enough, and if you're trying to get quick results, especially when it comes to behavioral change, it's definitely not possible. So when you're dealing with difficult coworkers, it's pretty much important that you need to be patient and you need to see the bigger picture than to get into conclusions quickly.
Wow, great. So patience is the power or the superpower that Pooja will choose, and she explained why. Well, we have Sirashri. She joined us, and Shirashri, you can unmute yourself. And that's the beauty of these shows and these events, that we get a lot of people coming in. They ask the question, what challenges they face in their work life, and here the experts are there to help them. Well, Shirashri, if you can hear
Yeah.
me, yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Hi everyone. Hi Pooja. How are you doing?
Hi Sarah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Nice speaking to you after a long time. So I have a question here that so we talked a lot about our managers, like if being a manager, what challenges you face, but sometimes your leaders are also a bit challenging. So how to deal with sometimes with the leaders which you are not able to communicate. So if they are not being very responsive, they are not being very attentive with the challenges or the problems that are coming in the team, so how you can actually push through that kind of a phase.
Well, Pooja, I guess you're on mute.
I lost for a bit because I'm stuck. So
No problem.
So,
Shirashi, if you can repeat your question, or
Yeah,
else Pooja.
sure. I'll repeat my question. So I was just asking that we talked a lot about the problems that we might be facing with our team members, but what if your leaders are being a little challenging, or your manager is being a little challenging in a way that you're not able to communicate, and there's issues, and you're not able to push through it even after trying to approach multiple times. So is there a way that you can work around that?
Sarah, I would say it's better to understand what the expectations are. So it is always important to set up the right expectation of what you want to achieve out of these conversations. So until and unless you give the importance to the goals which you want to achieve and make it clear to the people that this is what you want to achieve and this is where you want to address this particular problem, most of the times it would not be addressed. And understand that it's not a one man show, right? Especially with the leadership and all, it is always important for us to know what is the bigger picture and what are the goals of the business also, as well as the personal goals. So both of them have to be inclined towards each other, and that's when we can actually pass through all these situations. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, Pooja, thank you. That really helps.
Well, in fact, Sirashi, that was a very beautiful question and very useful question, because, when it comes to your leaders, your top leaders, and especially to those who are very difficult to talk with, right? You are not in that position. Probably you are not that big expert or of the level of they are. But then again, communicating to them what you really feel is a very challenging thing. And Saurabh, I want your input in this, as I mean, I asked the same, similar question to you before. You have answered it very, very beautifully. But I want you to add a few more things to Sirashri, how she can, navigate through this challenging situation, especially when it comes to the top leaders who are very difficult to handle.
Right. So see, again, when it comes to interacting with the leaders who are at a leadership level, right, we get very minimum time or very less interaction with them on a day-to-day basis, right? So we should be prepared. Like, okay, we should be okay, if you are aware that okay, somebody is visiting or you want to have that conversation, so you need to be aware of, okay, choose that particular time or the place where you can have a discussion, whether it can be a town hall, whether it can be any during interaction when the leaders are having with you, right? So you need to choose that particular place, and then when you are interacting with them, you need to focus on your facts, what it is. You have to remain calm and composed. Sometimes due to excitement or anything, we lose our calm, and then we talk something which may the leader may not be able to understand or relate to. That's where we see there is a disconnect which is happening, and then the leader try to okay ignore you or just hear you out but does not come back to you, right? And when you meet these leaders, right, after meeting you can talk, you can write it to them over the email, you can send them whatever are your thoughts, right? So that they can also, if there is anything which meaningful conversation you guys had, they can reply to you, they can take it forward from there, and that's how you build a relationship with these leaders. Otherwise, there is no other magic science here.
True. Wow, that was very intriguing, very very good answer, Saurabh. Thank you so much, and Shirashri, thank you for coming in and asking the question. Your question has brought up, highlighted a very important topic and very important area that most of us deal with, because I have dealt it. I experienced it during my time, my work experience. So I have came across managers or top leaders who were, very disrespectful. Probably they won't give you the credit what you are doing, and instead of seeing the positive things, they only look at the negative things in you. Well, to as Saurabh and Pooja added, how you can navigate and how you can deal with them, and I think they have answered your question, and you are not going from here empty-handed. Shirashi.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, that really helps actually.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, folks. What an enlightening and engaging discussion we have had today. I hope you have found the insights from our panelists as valuable as I did. But before going, I have one question for both of our panelists, Pooja and Saurabh. I have only one question, but I want different answers from you, obviously. The question is, if difficult co-workers were a type of food, what would they be and why?
Do
Pooja,
you
would you?
want me to take it?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Um, I would compare them to the durian. If you're aware of this fruit, it's a tropical fruit. It has a very pungent smell, but
Okay.
the more you have it, I mean, the more you're used to having it, you would definitely like it at some point or the other. So I would say I would compare them to the durian than anything else.
Oh, what's the name
I would
again,
say
Pooja? I didn't get it. I didn't get the name of the fruit.
Durian, durian.
Okay, Orion.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the.
So
Okay. It has a pungent smell, right?
it has a very pungent smell that people would definitely be scared of having it in the room because it smells the entire houses.
Hmm.
So I would say initially that would be the case, but once you start having it or liking it, you would not leave it. So
Okay.
it's
Is
the
it?
same with the difficult coworkers also. The moment they come in, you would definitely be like, oh God, they came in. But later, once you start working through your way through them, you would like their company.
Hmm. Nice. I will definitely Google this, Pooja, and I am so curious now to see which fruit is this because this is the first time I'm hearing this name. Great.
I'm
Thank you, Pooja.
yeah.
Saurabh, your turn.
Okay. So it will be for me bitter melon, right? Because as you bite it, the bitterness, right? It hits in your
Right.
it comes in, right, as a taste, right, and that's a bitterness which is there, right, when somebody in your team is come creating that negativity for you or anything, right, which is causing the behavior kind or the dynamics change in right, so that's a bitterness which is there in your mind or something which is within the team, right, so that's where, so this I'll say bitter melon because the it may not be appealing to everyone, but the difficult behaviors of these workers can be unpleasant and again impact the overall team dynamic. So it's, I'll say, this will be the best example for me to manage when I have to relate the difficult group workers.
Hmm. And bitterness is the keyword, guys, from what Saurabh said. So yes, stay away from the bitterness, and the people you don't feel working with, you don't like. Bitter people, stay away. Well, again, what an engaging discussion and amazing discussion we have had today. And obviously, as we wrap up, I would like to give few points. I call it Ankit's note. Because at the end of every session, whatever I have learned from the discussion, I summarize it. So I'll just give you 4 points today. The thing is, prioritize self-care and maintain resilience. This is one thing that Saurabh and Pooja have constantly mentioned in their answers and in the discussion. And obviously seek guidance from a trusted mentor or colleague. Connect with HR or a supervisor who understands your situation, and foster positive relationship with supportive coworkers. So the more good relationship or better friendship you will have with your colleagues, with your friends, they will help you to navigate, they will help you to grow and come out of every bad situation in your life. Well, always strive to maintain professionalism and respect in all interactions, and remember that you have the ability to control your reactions and actions even if you can't control the behaviors of others. Our panelists shared their wisdom and experiences today, from practical steps to the use of humor in dealing with difficult situations. We thank them for their insight, their wit, and their suggestion. Remember the metaphorical superpowers they suggested, right? Patience, empathy, clear communication, and a dash of humor. So let's all take this discussion to heart, apply them in our daily interactions, and continue to strive for a respectful and harmonious workplace. After all, we might not get to choose our coworkers, but we can certainly choose how we respond to them. Thank you all for your active participation and engagement. Let's continue to learn, grow, and support each other in our professional journey. Have a wonderful day, and remember, dealing with difficult coworkers might be a challenge, but you are equipped to handle it. Until next time, this is Ankit signing off from this LinkedIn audio event. Take care, guys. Keep learning, and thank you, Saurabh Pooja, for joining us and the wonderful people.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Arpita. Thank you, Harshwar, Michael, Satya, Joy. Thank you so much for coming in. And thank you, Pooja, again. We dropped you. We lost you in between, but again, you're back. So thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
coming in.
much, Ankit, for this
It
opportunity.
pleasure is completely mine, Pooja. We look forward to meet you again. Thank you, guys. This is your host, Ankit, signing off. See you till next time.